So, after a series of thrilling episodes, Monster Up has finally released the first arc's finale of the Zombieverse series just a few hours ago. Yeah, and not gonna lie, the plot twist at the end of everything was just totally crazy. But anyways, we'll get to that later. Yes, and besides, I guess there are many important details and questions that needed to be addressed in this last episode of the first arc, actually. So, without further ado, let's get right into everything. Whereas the episode all began from the last scene of the 58th episode, where the Clock Titan was seriously heartbroken due to the fact that he couldn't do anything at that very moment to bring his good friend and ally back to life. Okay, and just in a moment we heard the clock ticking, and next was shown the already roasted bodies of the zombies who caught fire from the last explosion caused by the G-toilet, before we saw the other Alliance members who were also in this location before the incident. Yeah, thankfully most of these guys are still alive. Okay, and again, Plunger Man would later appear in this same place together with some cameramen and speakermen as well, and after a few moments, the front man amongst the cameramen was seen getting on his knees while everyone else present also bowed their heads alongside him. Yeah, paying their last respects to the G-toilet. However, just at the least expected moment, something crazy happened. Plunger Man suddenly appeared as if he was being trapped under the influence of the Plague Doctor once again. I mean, remember, this was exactly the same way he looked in episode 48 when we last saw him being influenced by the Plague Doctor. Okay, and this actually turned out to be true, as the Plague Doctor was now shown to us. But sadly, one half of his body had been completely burned from the explosion that took place. However, stepping forward slightly from where he was before, he made it clear to these guys that he wasn't actually dead, and that there were still many victims for his victory. And just in a moment, we saw him injecting his body, and after that he brought out the Genesis red core he had earlier collected from the night and forcefully slammed it onto his body. Okay, now something unexpected started happening, guys, as this guy began an entirely insane transformation that left my mouth wide open, honestly, for a while. Okay, he's finally transformed now, looking like a giant wolf or something. And at this moment, I began to wonder how the Alliance was going to handle someone as gigantic and terrifying as this, but surprisingly, we were shown Plunger Man, who's already prepared for this, firstly picking up the X-18 core from the ground and using it on himself, along with the additional 2 cores he had collected from the Plague Doctor in the past episode. And at supersonic speed, this guy instantly rushed toward the transformed Plague Doctor and engaged in a series of fast attacks, so fast that the transformed Plague Doctor had to go all out just to keep up with him. However, after a long fight across different locations, the transformed Plague Doctor finally got hold of him, grabbing him by the neck and afterward asking if he was still alive. But sadly, after the question, he launched a seriously heavy blow on Plunger Man, sending him flying a couple of miles away. And while he was down there, the transformed Plague Doctor started a conversation with him, boasting about how powerful he had become with his insane abilities and how those abilities had helped him withstand the damage the red core should have caused to his body. Unbeknownst to him, Plunger Man had already taken away the red core from his chest, and the moment Plunger Man turned to face him, revealing the core in his grasp, the Plague Doctor was left completely confused. However, without wasting time, Plunger Man immediately dashed toward the transformed Plague Doctor once again, struck him with the red core and ensured it remained on his body long enough for the core to completely consume him. Yeah, that was a very bold and courageous move right there, brother, and honestly, I couldn't even describe the amount of joy I felt when I saw that the Plague Doctor was finally gone for good in the series. However, it doesn't end there, as Plunger Man starts hearing strange voices in his head at this moment, and being completely overwhelmed by all of this, to the extent that he couldn't even get up from the very spot he was in and remained motionless, until a speaker man nearby was signaled that a threat had just been discovered around him and should be eliminated immediately. Seeing this, the bald Skibidi friend couldn't help but start running toward Plunger Man, but unfortunately, the speaker man fired the shot instantly, and in his attempt to intercept it before it reached the ladder, the bald Skibidi friend had to throw himself out from his shell, using his own head to take the bullet instead. Okay, and immediately after witnessing this, Plunger Man didn't hesitate to kill the speaker man on the spot, seeking revenge for his good friend first, after which he moved toward the already dead bald Skibidi friend. Using one of the cores he had, he tried bringing his fallen buddy back to life, but instead we were introduced to an entirely different location, likely heaven or something similar. And this time, however, the bald Skibidi friend had white beards all over his jaw, looking much older. They entered into a short conversation where Plunger Man was begging the bald Skibidi friend to let him bring him back to life, but the bald Skibidi friend refused, making him understand that his time in the universe had come to an end, while Plunger Man's journey was still continuing. He also added that Plunger Man had changed and was no longer the same same person he once knew him to be. However, Plunger Man insisted that he wouldn't be able to live without him, but the bald Skibidi friend never agreed and left. And in a short moment, we were taken back to this reality where the Alliance had already sent the soldiers after him. And as soon as these guys got closer to him, they instantly opened fire, which he immediately blocked with a strong shield. And once again, the voice returned to him, whispering, "Kill, kill, kill." However, after trying everything he could to silence the voice in his head, but failing, he immediately launched a fatal attack, one powerful enough to even draw the attention of the Clock Titan, and he made sure to eliminate all of them in one go, which, was just totally insane. Before long, we were shown Plunger Man sitting at the end of everything, facing a massive horde of infected soldiers and mutants. Yeah, and at this moment, it's obvious that the Plague Doctor never truly died just like that, and he probably should have been the one currently influencing Plunger Man to do all of this. However, before the episode came to an end, we saw some members of the TV race who teleported right into this location and left immediately, also with corpse of a bald Skibidi friend. But before they left, we could actually hear them saying it's time we join this game, which means we are likely to see the TV race in this universe anytime soon. And yeah, that's definitely going to be an interesting one, honestly. But what are your thoughts on episode 59, guys? Let me know in the comments, and be sure to check out this video on the channel to see what would have happened if the G-Toilet never existed in the Monster Up series. See ya!